for the next question.
"10 years ago, in 2023, our relationship ended and we never got our poop back." And then we did, because you see, those were robots. We always loved this show and would never quit it.
You know, there's a phrase my papa passed down to me. If at first you don't succeed, settle. It's not Stockholm, it's commitment. We admitted our mistakes, and now we're back on, baby. They promised to never do a Star Wars, and I promised to never kill the Popey.
Funny how we said that good episodes were never enough, and then they decided to release these two masterpieces.
So yeah, you know the drill by now. Maybe this season will be redacted until we watch the whole thing. What's the first episode anyway? No!
So we watched Finding Jesus before this.
We didn't find we drowned. I now hate the word Professor and Shark in that order. If I have to see this 3-second clip our fish swimming to the same 3 goddamn rooms again, I'll pull out the ocean myself. Here I come!
I made him watch it.
Jesus keeps his promises, and so should we.
Anyway, this one's fine. This is the most viscerally mixed I felt about anything in my entire life. Like, I was expecting utter dog shit when I read the synopsis, but what I got was somehow more underwhelming than that. Let me preface this, the episode ain't bad. It's fine. It's whatever. Not like the Popey episode of number 1 where I'm actively hating life while watching it, but it's executed in the most bland way possible. I have nothing to say. Like, the way they use the Matrix isn't terrible. There's an idea there. Rick's penis does get a laugh out of me, and the way Morty and Summer changed due to their trauma was neat to see for a bit, but after a while, it just sort of goes through the motions. Rick and Morty on autopilot.
I think something that exemplifies that the best is how Rick's character is used here. His pettiness at the beginning is really funny, and his bonding with Morty is interesting, but afterwards Morty betrays Rick and he just does the Rick thing and escapes without any effort, and then he resets everything. There's no greater purpose to his character, which is fine, but then why even include him in this narrative in the first place? Even the ass doo-doo open your mind episode knew not to use him until he became relevant. Personally, I feel this even more with Morty and Summer this episode because frankly, they're different characters here, who I knew from the beginning weren't gonna stay. They were gonna be wiped no matter what, and yet the episode is still written as if they aren't. Foregone conclusions can be written very well, but in this case they didn't want to commit, and that's the problem.
They had something going character-wise with the two. They have an arc with emotional beats. Like, on paper, it's paper, but I just don't follow it because I'm not invested. Morty's doing the season 4 premiere thing and destroying the city. I like the snorkel bit and they beat up scientists. It's fine. I can't stress that enough. I sound angry, but I'm only angry because it's so bland, which makes me almost fear for the show's future. I know it's a bit early to call this, a season 8, but I worry this is what the show will become. Dodging what made me angry, but keeping nothing that made me invested. The Al Jean era shit, you know the vibe.
I don't.
You showed me Professor Shark. I don't give a shit.
Oh, you watched Finding Jesus? Oh, poor you.
I hate you. My fellow Americans, I have an important announcement to make. You! Last year you pulled this shit off Air Force One, making me and John look like fools. We called the president cringe, and yet we're the idiots?
Because guess what, nummy yummy nuts? We like this episode, and none of you on either IMDb or Serialized, the best place to get mad at people's opinions but not reply to them, seem to care for this episode. You all think it has no substance or focus. You thought the last mid-ass episode was so much better. But to that I say, you're all the biggest pieces of dog shit people I've ever seen, because this episode had fucking Cisco. If none of you can see his comedic genius, then don't even come to school tomorrow!
John, is this a manifesto?
Yes.
So here we have an episode all focused on an underused dynamic. In that they never used it. Fucking ZU type shit. Jerry and Spaceman at least got a cock. What the fuck? And you know, for the first episode exploring it, it's really well done. They both have a natural rapport with one another. Both snarky and kick-ass. But they're still able to play the father and daughter, which is cute to see. Something Beth and Rick also have, but I can see this one fitting naturally into more episodes.
Something I particularly enjoy about their dynamic here is that Rick actually pushes the adventure forward. He really does want to spend time with his daughter in spite of a tenuous relationship. He wants to make things right, and I like seeing the writers letting him develop in that way, when they were previously terrified of doing so. And they're not as in-your-face about it as they were previously. Their dynamic is allowed to play out naturally with the adventure.
Speaking of, something I can see this episode getting flack for is its more bare-bones adventure. It's your run-of-the-mill sci-fi romp, with action beats, robot queens, zombie bitches, and even Root.
Barry, you f***ing idiot! What?
But I feel that's the episode's intention. More than anything else, this episode feels like a homage to space epics. With the snarky quips, convoluted schemes, and alien lasers, whoa. And personally, I think it works. Much more than if they were to constantly parody the genre, I much prefer them playing it straight to help the character moments stand out. It reminds me how Community would do them, and I do hope they continue this practice. Hell, one thing I can give the last episode, it wasn't a Matrix parody. The Matrix was a vehicle there for the character stuff. Same goes here.
Now, while all that shit that he just talked about that I wasn't paying attention to is nice, the real cookie sauce this episode has is its comedy, baby. While the show in its most recent years would usually point out stereotypes and cliches for humor, this episode instead does something bold, which is just write good fucking dialogue in comedic scenarios. The amount of genuinely good lines like boob milk, okay, all the other ones I forgot, but mainly all of the comedic scenes are gold. The bug supremacist, them narrating a plan relying on my man Cisco while everything goes to shit. This scene in particular is good at escalating the scenario thanks to both what happens on screen and Rick becoming increasingly more adamant about how trustworthy Cisco is. I love Cisco more than my ass. And the villain DeVito. Yo, holy shit, the villain DeVito? No way. And the villain defeat, who wasn't even a great character, but that makes his stupid ass death scene way funnier. Overall, aside from maybe the Gen Z language that it goes a little too far with by the end, this episode is one of the strongest comedically that I've seen in years.
Complementing the jokes are some charming smaller moments. Bird person gets to do something, not spawn a poopy connected. The bug team is cool, Rick struggling was refreshing, and I didn't want a Stephen Root character to die. Finally! Rick and Morty and Office Space have something in common.
Basically, it's good and you're all wood. Wait. Holy shit, buddy, it's a Citadel episode. Haven't had those since... So I always liked the Citadel in this show. It was the one thing season 3 did right. Add that to the tally. Again, whoa, callback mama meta bolognese. I thought it was a neat exploration of the idea of the multiverse, and the way they were able to use it to talk about real societal issues. Season 5 kind of fucked it up entirely by doing what the Season 3 premiere already did, which was destroying the city.
We want apologize for misquoting this legendary clip. He says attacking, not destroying. Both of these guys can fry.
This time with backstory and metasicles. But I was still fine with that being the conclusion because it led the way for the show to explore more interesting ideas with Evil Morty, so it was worth it. This episode serves as a kinda neat epilogue to the arc, which I wasn't expecting. I was also expecting it to be good.
Hyperbole, of course. This ain't bad. I can see the appeal of it, and it does have some to like. For one, I've always wanted to compliment the show's animation. Something that has gradually been getting better and better. If only the show could.
Hey, look at the clown! Chaos, chaos!
And this episode finally gave me an excuse to, because it's doing a lot of the heavy lifting. Like, yeah, on the surface, adult animated cartoon, simple flash, gay beer.
Jesse, what the fuck are you talking about?
Have you noticed that a lot of them these days have amazing background work? The ones in this show in particular have always stood out to me. They have such a unique style, a consistent color scheme, but they know how to make it pop. The little details do a lot to help the world building, and the shading and lighting all look fantastic. And this one especially, we get some really gorgeous landscape shots. Lighting pretty. I like when fire make rim. Lighting. The character animation is also very good. They make these fight scenes pretty engaging, even if the reason for them is a little but details. The design work and these Rick and Morty clones do a lot to show their character. Their unique backstory, how they roughed it. I highlight on most of their episodes, but I like the differences they show here. Overall though, the technicals in this episode help keep me more invested in what's going on, which is more than what I can say for the Matrix one. They help sell the large scope of what the story is trying to tell. No, if only.
Ways to end your life. While Aloda is more on the finding this episode okay side of things, I find it to be more aggressively mid thanks to its execution. The story follows this milk daddy Rick who hangs around a bunch of clone Mortys who didn't have a home dimension to go back to. None of the clones did. This is a cool idea in terms of dealing with the aftermath of the Citadel, however I find the actual story pretty weak. The Rick clones kidnap the Morty clones to try and keep the Citadel going as usual, which I find a pretty whatever motivation that doesn't really tie into the nature of them having been bred to serve real Ricks and Mortys. In general, they're more like Western caricatures instead of real Ricks. In the Ricklantis mix-up, while yes, the Ricks and Mortys look different, the crux of the episode was that at the end of the day, they truly are the same person. Whereas this episode uses the clone excuse to not have to do a similar level of character work. This is best exemplified with this southern guy who's just fat and what's stupid. Though I will actually credit the voice acting.
Technical win, baby! Delta Rick!
There's also a problem with the episode not really earning its grander moments. The main Rick we follow being a Morty scientist just kinda gets dropped on us with little foreshadowing. And him and the arcade Morty bonding also just kinda happens at a certain point, with us never really learning why.
I think this could have worked if we saw some bits of their life before Burke and Mork showed up. Like a montage or more time within us vibing in this town. Or even like a small puppet montage from John Wick. We're kind of thrusted into this pre-established new world. Wait, isn't that an oxymoron? Ding ding ding, that's the problem, oxy idiot. We hardly get any time with this farmer Rick just living life, so his revenge quest or big reveal don't carry that much weight. Not that following a new character we know nothing about can't work. The Cop Puff Season 3 episode did that fine, but they already had a simpler story to tell with beats we're familiar with. Plus better world building, but details. This tells a relatively bigger story to want more out of these main characters. Like, we get enough visual storytelling to get a glimpse of this farmer Rick. I like this little subtle foreshadowing, this fucked up pig, he like me. But man, I don't know, Rick and Morty could do more than that. Who is he? What's his motive? Why is he doing or saying anything he's saying or doing? I need more than what I'm getting.
One thing that the episode does earn is the ending, where the Morty clones decide to stop trying to live as a collective and choose their own life, which was a great way to conclude this arc. But I feel like they had an ending in mind and wrote the rest of the episode somewhat haphazardly around it, like the conclusion to this segment.
Also, jellybean is a slur.
You like sex? You used 22 minutes of it, censored and not funny. It was going somewhere, I think, in the first 5 minutes. And then I gave up before I could tell. So I was left miserable. Just like Easter.
The episode started as your average, but still funny Jerry romp, but then, as if Jesus himself punished us for not liking his fish movie and killing the Popey or something.
It wasn't us, it was another white guy with a beard.
Santa? And he made the episode a lame sci-fi Christian adventure where no one cares about anything that's going on. We were super invested. JK April Fools, except we're the fools. Boo Boo the fool, to be specific.
They made Jerry getting the bad. Not even a Space Path one did that. I I guess he could have went to hell. Too bad that's where I'm going.
While Leloda is in hell, I just want to say that this episode has some pretty commentary on people who don't favor sex in media. I agree that complaining about gratuitous sex scenes is annoying, but it's only annoying when they're complaining about a scene that actually matters to the story. This episode's sex scenes just straight up are gratuitous, so the whole commentary doesn't work at all.
Honestly, Rick and Morty should just stay away from Christianity and sex altogether, like me.
Oh, that's why you're in hell.
Alright.
Overall, this episode is lame, and there's a super elongated ending bit, and even more incest, and I never mind, I'm gonna join a Loda in hell. Whee! Driving in my car right after a beer. Hey, that bump is shaped like a bunny. DUI, how about you die? I'll go 100 miles an hour. Little do you know, I filled up on gas. I'ma get your sex having ass. Pulverized as fuck with my Bergen truck. It seems you're out of luck. Jerry's truck! Oh hey, we made it back out of hell, off screen.
Has the world improved?
Kinda. There's no more sex.
Good enough for me. This episode feels like a reverse of the Matrix one, where it starts out pretty bland, but slowly gets more and more entertaining over time.
Though that's mainly thanks to the jokes if you ask me. Now you may think that an episode being overall good is enough, like the classics of old, but those episodes had much stronger hooks that made seeing the premise unfold interesting right from the start, whereas here you're waiting for the escalation for a pretty long time because they at first play the story relatively straight.
Not bad straight, it's engaging enough. It's not like you'll be bored by the Keith David, Star Wars, Boo Boo Keys bullshit, but it is noticeable.
The second half really does do a lot of the heavy lifting and is genuinely pretty funny. The parents of a rich kid getting so attached to Rick and then hating their actual son who they presumed was murdered is the highlight. A nice bit of wish fulfillment. If only all rich kids were like this. The space race was a nice reference to Sonic for Hire, and even the end tag wasn't that bad.
Overall, while this episode isn't that special and there isn't that much notable about it, we'll take that over to Poodoo last week anytime. If we're gonna try to do classic Rick and Morty adventures, this is a good approach to take them in.
How do they f*** it?
By not committing to anything. You know, you gave John a decent space adventure last time. What did you give me? Flashbacks. I guess I can appreciate them trying character dissection again instead of egg shit. It's a decent idea on paper too, going into Beth's childhood and seeing how Rick's primed abandonment affected her. And you know what, with them being kids, you actually have to try to give the clones chemistry. It's a shame they only attempt all those things in the last 2 minutes because the majority of this episode is just dicking around. And you know what happened to them not having to do B-plots? Season 7 had none, as well as the best episode here. Why not commit to that? It made the character drama hit more and keep me more invested in the overall story. It's an episode about Beth's childhood. You tell me there's not enough meat in there? Instead, they go to human world. I'm already there! Fucking kill me!
So this human theme park subplot is actually kind of funny on paper, especially with Rink's anger and the so bad it's good version of the park.
Light up corn dog? Get the f away from me!
The problem is that these funny ideas don't go anywhere. It's developed in the most generic way possible. Oh no, people Frankensteins. Why? The weirdest thing to me is that Rink just leaves the plot in spite of setting it in motion. Episode, just pick a lane. Either have Rink not go to the theme park at all, or have the Beth stuff stand without him, which was the initial setup. Better than that would be to not even have two plots, because both suffer greatly from being grouped together like this. They barely even try to combine like previous episodes did. You had two kid characters and a theme park. Those two things go together like garbage and this show. You didn't need to split it up like this. You know, Alona doesn't even know how to end this segment. You broke him.
How hard is it to just commit to one episode idea? How hard is commitment? I can't believe I have to know you forever! Hey, update. I have a fucking earache on my left ear, and so does John. What is Rick and Morty doing to us? I can't take it anymore! I just want to die! They fucked up. And they're John's birthday too! What the shuck? Anyways, happy birthday, John. Here's bullshit.
So this episode is essentially corporate slop. It exists only to be a really shallow deconstruction of fan culture, mixed with shallow commentary on films. James Gunn is a good creator, but this whole episode feels like a vanity project. All just so the show could make headlines by playing into the Snyder versus James Gunn drama that Twitter has already analyzed to death. It's the most Reddit shit ever, and I don't want to talk about it anymore, so here's us just reacting to it.
I hate it already.
This is just Plants vs. Zombies. What the fuck?
Rick, what are you doing? I don't know what to do with these feelings, Jerry. This used to be my favorite franchise.
Wait, he just pissed over. So, you know, guys, there's this movie James Gunn is making. It's coming out in 3 days. It's actually called Soup.
Yo, why are you watching this fucking show?
I invented it during the title sequence. Let's see what James Gunn had cooking.
Wow, what a great joke.
Movie Lizer.
I don't.
Make
Rick and Morty are
us
just
care.
not themselves this episode. They're just mad. Oh my god, they went in the movie. Oh my god, guys, it's like Minecraft. I don't
Does it
like
get-
this episode.
Yo, James Gunn.
No, I'm like,
Hi, Zack Snyder.
does it get funny?
Guys, it's a metaphor for Superman drama.
Are they still talking?
Definitely more than I expected.
There are whole seasons of this shit?
Guys, writers take crack cocaine. Did you know that? That's how they write good stories. This is definitely not just a Quentin Tarantino reference. I'm losing my fucking mind. I can't believe I saw people on Reddit say this was good, guys. Oh my god, the show's so good again. Look, James Gunn was in the episode and I clapped. Wow, guys, so fucking funny. It happens in the real world, so that means it's funny.
It's like, the show's like, if it was trying to like, the show's like telling jokes with no substance. What the fuck is it now?
It's a decent episode, holy Jesus.
Not just that, it's one that we don't have much to say about. We're almost done! I can see the light!
Stupid, I'm coming! So, yeah, this one is pretty neat. It continues Jerry's character development of slowly becoming the best version of himself by addressing the neglect he often feels around his family, while not being super overbearing about it. It's a very subtle plot beat, and the episode in general is very low stakes, which makes sense for our good friend Jerry. He meets a hitchhiker version of himself that travels through universes without the portal gun, and they kinda just have fun until our Jerry finds out this guy only did this shit because of divorce, just like us.
I guess the real biggity cucumbles were us all along.
I like this because it sort of acknowledges what Jerry could have been like after season 3 of Rick and Morty had he not gone back together with Beth. We even see the return of motherfucking Paul. I miss you. And the overall message is that while Jerry is a big old buffooner, he's our Stuber 2019. And the family does miss him when he's gone. It makes for a nice ending to a nice episode. Not an ambitious one in the slightest, but I don't really mind since ambition has often bogged this season's episodes down.
And for being less ambitious, it still has some meat to chew on. Rather be the multiverse they go to, the Frozen one especially is one of the best pieces of visual storytelling the show has done in a while, or the small character stuff with Jerry and Rick. And I'm able to enjoy all that without a stupid ass B-plot about Morty's pearl face pot! Holy shit, guys, new Smiley Friends content every this fucking awesome! And then Pim's arc, Pim has new eyes? What? This says a lot about where the season could go. Maybe it's about Pim's new perspective on life, or maybe about his own self-confidence, that he felt he needed these new eyes for Charlie to accept him. Maybe finally we'll get answers. Does Pim Charlie sex? And there's something else I just noticed. Where is Jeremy? He's usually in the office with these two as they're having a little spat. Where did he go? Did he die? Bring him back. This wasn't supposed to fucking happen.
My favorite part was when Gleb was eating something, because I think Gleb is my favorite character in the whole show. He's so funny. Look at him. He is green, and he is like Kermit the Frog. I am so happy.
And holy shit, guys, the new season's gonna go crazy. We're gonna get new Spimton lore. We're gonna get new Mr. Boss, fucking rapper sound clap. It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be so cool. Rick and Morty, right? That happened. Yeah, this one sucked. It's about damn motherfucking Tony Clock time. They got an episode with goddamn death. What do? You can do this shit all you want. You can't undivorce these papers.
So in this hilarious escapade, Memory Rick comes back after having been set up in Season 7 to be in Jerry's brain. And it's pretty good, I guess. It handles a lot of plot lines that I've been wanting to see, but neither me nor Aloda thinks it handles them well enough to be a masterpiece. There's an equal amount of things that work and things that don't. I like how the episode deals with Rick's stance on relationships, but they do it in such a casual way that I don't really feel the importance of that moment within the episode. I was genuinely shocked at how crazy Beth became, but then they pulled a fake out death like it's Rise of Skywalker. I kinda love all the memory concepts this episode tackles, but I feel like the episode doesn't really punish the memory versions of Rick and Diane to the point where it feels like they get rewarded for basically almost killing Beth.
I like that we finally get a Beth solo appearance that felt like actually exploring her in an interesting way. And though it's once again about her relationship with Rick, the way they did it here felt like they gave a damn, in ways that pay off to the Boo Boo Keys ass episode earlier. The issue is how the climax was handled. When it goes so high concept, Beth's character stops driving the plot and is more along for the ride. Like the moment she pulls a gun to her head, God, I wish that was me, I don't get into it emotionally. Feels like more so a result of the high concept plot rather than it saying anything about how she would react. In general, I wish the show would just have an episode to explore her as a person, so a moment like this can feel more fleshed out. We've gotten a Jerry solo episode, and a Space Beth one where they felt like they were driving the plot, and we still haven't got one with her. Not regarding her relationship with Rick anyway. Not that that aspect of her character is an uninteresting one, and the way it's done here is still well done. I just wish the show could do something different with her. And maybe they can. This episode does feel like a conclusion to her arc. If episode 6 being a Kickstarter of this episode is anything to go by.
Rick finally letting go of his one memory with Diane so that they could have memory sex was a nice moment, with a remix of Season 4's finale song being a nice touch, which would have hit harder if the season didn't overuse licensed music like hell to emotionally manipulate us. See why this season is so hard to praise?
Which... This was exhausting. This whole experience was exhausting. Like, we made jokes, we japed, we dealt into some rings, but if I'm being frank, this was the hardest video I've ever had to make. This season underwhelmed us in such a uniquely mid way that it drained us so thoroughly. It got to a point, specifically after episode 4, that the video felt less like a fun little side gig and more like homework, a chore on our premiere screen. And I'm just gonna cut to the chase. This is why we're actually done with the show. For one, this season felt like it just regressed. Like, we've had our fun knocking season 7 down, but for what it was worth, the show was trying more. Enough to where we, naively, wanted to give the show another shot. Keep in mind, that was after the Keith David Star Wars and the number Star Wars. It'd take a lot for us to keep up with the show after that. So we didn't come back to it for nothing, or for views for that matter. The bangers last time did speak to us. But something that season also had going for it was passion, and that's what this season lacks.
This whole season speaks to a lack of imagination for otherwise solid ideas. If the show isn't even gonna try anymore with its 10 out of 10 episode ideas, there is genuinely no hope for the show ever being good again. Previous seasons frustrated us because there were always episodes that kept us coming back. Now, there is nothing to get us excited. Sprinkle in some episodes that already were before the plot was even finalized, and genuinely, what do you want from us? They're not even so bad that they're interesting. They're so bad because they're badly executed in a boring way. That's why we gave up halfway through the season, because the show did as well.
And there's only so many times a show can keep pulling this kind of crap before we say enough is enough. Especially with how much came out during this season's run. New shows, new movies, new games.
Bozo the Mouse died in an all-new episode of Gumball.
Not to mention how busy our lives have gotten too. And all of that felt like it got interrupted by this underambitious, underwhelming, passionless slog of a season we only committed to staying to for the hope of an episode or a stretch as good as last season's. But it never came. This was the final straw. We can't promise we'll never watch a new episode of the show again. To at least see what they do when they give a fuck, and to see what this guy cooks up next, watch him be the showrunner next time, pull Stephen Moffat and shit. But if that's gonna be the exception rather than the rule, then what the hell is the point?
The worlds can be one together, cosmos without hatred, stars like diamonds in your eyes. Surround me space, 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 with feet marching towards a peaceful sky. All the Rick and Morty fans want things their way, but we'll make sure they see better shows. Goodbye, Rick and Morty. We say goodbye, Rick and Morty. Goodbye, Rick and Morty. Goodbye.